Hey there, sleepy traveler. Before you drift off tonight, let's take a slow, quiet journey together. Not through time zones or airports, but through the gentle twilight of human habits. Every culture, every corner of the world has its own way of saying good night. Some wrap themselves in the hush of incense and candlelight. Others trust the ocean's breath or a steaming cup of lavender tea. Some people even crawl into tiny pods that look more like spaceship capsules than beds. And somehow, they call that relaxing. You see, sleep is universal, but the way we approach it, not even close. It's like a mirror that reflects what we fear, what we value, and what we find comfort in. For the Vikings, sleep was almost a rehearsal for the afterlife. For Japanese office workers, it's a form of social acceptance to nap upright on the train. And for monks in Bhutan, it's a moment of dissolving the self entirely into the rhythm of breath and silence. So tonight, we're not just closing our eyes. We're opening them, just a little, to the strange and beautiful ways people around the world prepare for rest. You'll hear stories that smell like lavender and smoke, taste like honey and sea salt, and sound like waves, prayers, and the soft rustle of fabric. No need to pack anything, not even your worries. Just let the sound of these stories be the blanket that covers you. Each chapter is a little window into another world, another kind of peace. So, take a deep breath. Let your shoulders drop. The lights are dimming now, and the night is waiting. Let's begin our journey, from the capsule hotels of Tokyo to the icy silence of Greenland, from hammocks swinging in Brazil to the whisper of incense in a Moroccan hammam. And who knows, by the time we're done, you might find your own little sleep ritual too. One that's strange enough to make sense, only to you. So, take a deep breath. Let your shoulders drop. The lights are dimming now, and the night is waiting. Let's begin our journey. From the capsule hotels of Tokyo to the icy silence of Greenland. From hammocks swinging in Brazil to the whisper of incense in a Moroccan hammam. And who knows, by the time we're done, you might find your own little sleep ritual too. One that's strange enough to make sense only to you. If you ever find yourself wandering through the glowing streets of Tokyo at midnight, you might notice something odd. Among the neon sushi signs and vending machines that sell literally everything, there's a quiet building with a sign that simply says, Capsule Hotel. Inside, rows of plastic pods line the walls like something out of a futuristic beehive. And this, my friend, is where tired souls of the city come to sleep. Each capsule is about the size of a coffin, though that's not the kind of comparison you'd want to think about before bed. You crawl in, close the little sliding door, and there you are, a soft humming world of your own. There's a television right in front of your face, soft yellow lights above your head, and just enough space to stretch your arms a little, but not too much. To outsiders, this may seem claustrophobic, but to the Japanese, this is efficiency turned into comfort. Capsule hotels began in Osaka in 1979, created by architect Kisho Kurokawa, who thought of them as the perfect solution for the overworked salarymen who missed their last train home. They were clean, private, and crucially cheap. You didn't need luxury, you needed rest. And so, sleeping in a pod became a quiet symbol of modern Japan, a culture that values endurance, respect, and balance even in exhaustion. Here, you can hear the low hum of air conditioning, the gentle rustle of someone shifting in the next pod, and the faint music of vending machines downstairs selling canned coffee. At 2 a.m., some people even say there's a special kind of peace in the capsules. A strange mix of anonymity and safety. No one cares who you are, what you do, or how much you make. You are simply another human being taking a pause, floating in your little plastic cocoon before the world starts again at dawn. Of course, not everyone finds it restful. Some wake up disoriented, bumping their heads on the roof. Others confess to dreaming of open fields and fresh air. But for many, the capsule is a kind of meditation, a brief reminder that you don't need space to feel at peace. When the alarm quietly beeps in the morning, the city outside is already alive. Trains rumbling, steam rising from ramen shops. You slide the pod door open, step out into the fluorescent hallway, and for a moment, it feels like being reborn. And just like that, Tokyo swallows you back into its electric rhythm. You're walking through a narrow street in southern Spain, maybe in Seville or Securtaba, and suddenly, silence. Shops are closed. The sound of footsteps fades. Even the birds seem to nap. It's not the end of the world. It's just siesta time. The air is warm, heavy with the smell of oranges and olive oil, and the sun feels like a glowing blanket pressing on your shoulders. Locals know better than to fight it. Around 2 in the afternoon, shutters go down, conversations pause, and life itself slows to a dreamy crawl. You find yourself in a world where everyone collectively decides, yay, let's take a nap. The siesta is not just laziness, far from it. Historically, it made perfect sense. In the days before air conditioning, farmers working under the brutal Spanish sun had no choice but to rest during the hottest hours. It wasn't about indulgence, it was survival. And later, when Spain industrialized, the rhythm stayed. Old habits, as they say, nap hard. Modern Spain, of course, doesn't always have the luxury. Big cities like Madrid or Barcelona now run on international schedules. Offices stay open, and the siesta has become more of a nostalgic dream than a daily ritual. Still, in smaller towns, it's alive and well. You can walk down an empty street, see a cat sleeping on a windowsill, and hear the faint hum of a radio playing flamenco in someone's living room. Some researchers say there's real science behind it, that humans naturally dip in alertness during the early afternoon. It's our circadian rhythm whispering, hey, you've eaten enough tapas, go lie down. Even NASA found that short naps improve performance and mood. The Spanish just happened to perfect it centuries before it became a wellness trend. And then there's the social part. The siesta isn't just about sleeping, it's about slowing down. After lunch, families sit together, talk softly, maybe share a little wine, and then rest. A pause that gives the day 2 beginnings instead of 1. Morning, siesta, then night. Life broken into calm chapters. You try it once. You pull the curtains, lie on a bed that smells faintly of sun-warmed cotton, and let your thoughts drift like a lazy fan turning overhead. Outside, time itself seems to be sleeping. When you finally wake up, the light has softened. The air feels new, and the sound of laughter echoes from the streets as shops reopen. In Spain, even sleep has rhythm, and maybe, just maybe, the rest of us could learn a little from that. You step out into the crisp Finnish air, and instantly, your nose tingles, your eyelashes threaten to freeze, and your breath turns into tiny clouds that drift away like shy ghosts. Welcome to Finland, where even the idea of sleep comes with a dash of frostbite. Here, tucked between snowy forests and frozen lakes, people actually sleep on ice, or at least in rooms made of it. The famous ice hotels of Lapland are built every winter from massive blocks of frozen water, carved straight out of nearby rivers. The walls glisten like glass, the beds are sculpted from ice slabs, and yes, even the furniture can melt away come spring. Now, you might think this sounds like a nightmare. Who in their right mind would pay to freeze overnight? But the Finns, being both stoic and secretly fond of suffering, find it magical. You slip into a thermal sleeping bag, nestle atop a reindeer hide, and feel the soft crunch of frost beneath you. The temperature hovers around -5 degrees Celsius, just enough to keep the walls intact and your body questioning all its life choices. But then something happens. Your breathing slows. The world outside goes utterly silent, the kind of silence that only snow can make. The air is pure and still, and the light filtering through the ice has this faint blue glow, like you're inside a frozen dream. There's even science behind it. The cold helps the body enter deeper sleep phases, and the dense air can make breathing feel easier. Some Finns swear by it, that one night of Arctic sleep can reset your entire rhythm. Of course, others wake up 3 times to check if their toes still exist. After the night, you're rewarded with something even better, a sauna. Because in Finland, there's no such thing as too much contrast. You move from ice to heat, from silence to steam. It's a ritual, almost sacred. Burn, freeze, breathe, repeat. It's their way of finding balance in extremes. Historians believe the habit of sleeping in cold spaces dates back centuries. Early Finnish hunters often slept outdoors, covered in fur, using snow itself as insulation. It wasn't luxury, it was survival. Yet somehow, that endurance turned into pride. So as you lie there, cocooned in a sleeping bag made for Arctic explorers, you begin to understand. This isn't about comfort. It's about harmony with the land, the weather, and yourself. When you finally crawl out in the morning, the horizon glows with pale pink light, and the first flakes of new snow fall quietly. You survived the night, and honestly, you kind of want to do it again. You find yourself in the soft golden light of an Indian afternoon. The air smells faintly of sandalwood, jasmine, and something warm. Maybe chai brewing nearby. You're at an ashram, one of those quiet spiritual retreats where people come to find peace, balance, and occasionally, the best naps of their lives. See, in India, sleep isn't just a biological need. It's part of the spiritual cycle, a state where the body, mind, and spirit gently realign. In many ashrams, there's a special time set aside each day called Yoga Nidra, which literally means yogic sleep. But don't be fooled. It's not about snoring under a tree, though. No judgment if you do. It's a guided meditation where you lie still, breathe deeply, and drift into a space between waking and dreaming. You're not supposed to fall fully asleep, though. Let's be honest. Everyone does at some point. Instead, the goal is to reach that delicate state where your body feels weightless and your mind feels quiet. It's said that 30 minutes of Yoga Nidra equals a few hours of normal sleep. Ancient yogis called it the bridge between consciousness and rest, the sweet spot where the soul recharges. The ritual often starts with a short chant. Then the teacher's calm voice leads you through your body. Feel your toes, your knees, your heartbeat. The next thing you know, you're floating somewhere between existence and oblivion. Some historians trace this tradition back over 2,000 years, to Vedic practices where sleep and dreams were seen as sacred channels to divine knowledge. Even today, monks and travelers in ashrams take naps as a form of devotion. Not laziness, it's rest as ritual, stillness as prayer. Outside, the world continues, the rustle of banana leaves, the sound of temple bells, the distant call of peacocks. Inside, you lie on a simple mat, eyes closed. No phone, no noise. Just breath. The air moves slowly through the room, carrying the scent of incense. You can almost feel time dissolving. When you finally rise, you don't feel groggy, you feel light. Like someone pressed a reset button deep in your soul. Modern science backs it up too. Studies show Yoga Nidra reduces anxiety, improves focus, and can even help with insomnia. It's ancient wisdom meeting neuroscience. Proof that the body sometimes just needs permission to rest. So, as you sip warm tea afterwards sitting cross-legged under a banyan tree, you realize something simple and profound. Maybe sleep isn't just an escape from the world. Maybe, when done right, it's a way of tuning into it. The afternoon sun in Italy feels like melted honey. You've just finished a long, slow lunch, handmade pasta, maybe tagliatelle al ragù, with a generous drizzle of olive oil, and that dangerously good bread you swore you wouldn't eat. And then, inevitably, it happens. The post-pasta nap. You're sitting in a small trattoria somewhere in Tuscany, cicadas singing, a soft breeze fluttering the curtains. The waiter has disappeared to smoke a cigarette, and the whole village seems to have agreed that productivity is overrated. In Italy, they call it riposo, a gentle pause between lunch and the next espresso. It's not just about being sleepy, it's about respect. Respect for digestion, for time, for the art of doing nothing. Italians will tell you that a short nap after a heavy meal helps settle the soul. Science agrees, at least partially. When you eat well, and Italians always do, your body diverts energy to digestion. So what better way to honor that process than by stretching out and letting your body do its thing? You wander back to your rented room, cool tiles, lace curtains, a bed that smells faintly of lemon soap. The air outside hums with the sound of faraway scooters. But inside it's all stillness. You lie down, hands on your stomach, and within minutes you're drifting. This isn't quite the Spanish siesta. It's softer, less formal. It's not scheduled. It simply happens when the pasta says so. Some people don't even make it to bed. They doze in chairs in the shade, under vines heavy with grapes. The tradition has deep roots. In the countryside, farmers would rest after the big midday meal, waiting for the worst heat to pass before heading back to the fields. Over time, that habit became a lifestyle, one that values pleasure, slowness, and rhythm over efficiency. There's even a word for the act of deliberately taking it slow, dolce far niente. The sweetness of doing nothing, and nowhere does it taste sweeter than after lunch. Of course, outsiders might call it indulgent. But in Italy, life isn't meant to be rushed. Meals stretch for hours, conversations linger, and sleep fits naturally in between. It's as if the country collectively decided that the best way to live is to live deliciously. When you wake, the light has turned golden, the smell of espresso fills the air again, and someone outside is tuning a mandolin. You stretch, smile, and think, maybe productivity can wait until tomorrow. After all, you've just learned the most Italian secret of all, that a nap, like pasta, is best enjoyed al dente, not too long, not too short, just perfect. You're standing in a quiet courtyard in ancient Egypt. The Nile shimmers under the moon, and the air is warm, scented with lotus flowers and frankincense. Here, sleep isn't just about resting the body. It's a ritual that connects you to gods, ancestors, and dreams themselves. Back then, wealthy Egyptians believed that how you slept affected not just your health, but your fate. Beds were often raised high, covered in linens that smelled faintly of myrrh or sandalwood. Some pharaohs even had perfume vials on their nightstands, a midnight ritual of dabbing fragrant oils on the skin to ensure pleasant dreams. And, according to some scribes, to ward off restless spirits, you lie down on a bed carved from cedar, your head resting on a wooden pillow shaped like a small rectangle, uncomfortable by modern standards. But it helped keep the neck straight. The elite also surrounded themselves with amulets for protection and small figurines of gods, like bees, the cheerful deity thought to safeguard sleep and fertility. Even the humblest Egyptians might carry a tiny charm in their bedding to chase away nightmares. The commoners, meanwhile, slept on mats or simple reed beds. But even their rituals were deliberate. A small bowl of water at the bedside, a pinch of natron, or a simple prayer to the night gods. All small acts meant to influence the invisible world of dreams. It was believed that dreams could carry messages from gods or foretell the future. And yes, historians still debate how seriously people took these predictions. Interestingly, some Egyptian tombs contain murals showing sleeping figures surrounded by stars, birds, and lotus flowers, suggesting that the very concept of sleep was tied to cosmic harmony. Sleep wasn't passive. It was a state to honor, a bridge between the earthly and the divine. Outside, the desert night is silent, broken only by the distant splash of the Nile or the soft whispers of attendants moving through the palace. Inside, your breathing slows. The perfume, the amulets, the ritual itself. It's all designed to coax your mind into calm, a preparation for both rest and dreams. You begin to drift, feeling the ancient wisdom seep into your consciousness. Sleep here is layered, part physical relief, part spiritual rehearsal, part tiny celebration of life's fragility. And when the morning sun rises over the river, gilding everything in gold, you wake as if reborn, ready to greet the day with the quiet dignity of an ancient civilization that never underestimated the power of rest. It's strange to think that even thousands of years ago, people obsessed over sleep almost as much as we do today. Only theirs involved lotus oil, gods, and a pinch of mystery. You step into the warm, misty air of a Moroccan hammam just as dusk settles over the Medina. Steam curls around the tiled walls, fragrant with eucalyptus and rosewater, and the sound of dripping water echoes like a gentle drum. Here, sleep isn't only about lying down. It's about preparing the body for rest through ritual and cleansing. Hammams have been a cornerstone of Moroccan life for centuries. Families and friends gather to wash, exfoliate, and sweat away the day's worries. The heat relaxes muscles, the scents soothe the mind, and by the time you leave, your skin tingles, your shoulders have released tension, and your spirit feels lighter. It's almost cheating, a spa treatment centuries before spas were a thing. Many Moroccans follow up their hammam experience with a short nap at home, their bodies perfectly primed for sleep. Some even add a cup of mint tea afterward. Cool enough to refresh, sweet enough to calm. Locals swear this combination encourages deeper, more restorative sleep. Anthropologists still debate exactly how widespread the pre-sleep hammam nap was historically. But one thing is clear. Cleanliness was more than hygiene. It was intimately tied to relaxation, social bonding, and mental preparation for rest. You lie down at home afterward on a mat or mattress, listening to the call of a distant muezzin. The warmth from the hammam lingers, your muscles still pliant, your mind wandering between the scents of eucalyptus and the soft murmurs of family life. Outside, the city buzzes faintly, but inside, your body knows the difference between day and night. There's even a curious practice among some older Moroccans. They lightly tap their temples or massage their heads with argan oil before sleep, claiming it brings better dreams. Science hasn't confirmed this, but the ritual's charm is undeniable. You try it, half skeptical, half amused, and feel oddly serene. Historians also note that hammams were more than physical spaces. They were cultural institutions. Women in particular used them as private havens, places to talk, laugh, and connect before the quiet of night demanded silence. Sleep, then, was not merely a biological act. It was a continuation of the body-mind. Spirit cycles started in the warm steam of the hammam. As you drift off, you realize this night in Morocco isn't just rest. It's a journey of senses, heat, scent, touch, and the lingering social warmth that seeps into your bones. Hammam nights remind you that sleep can be an art, a ritual, and sometimes a little indulgence in a world that rarely slows down. You find yourself in a small village along the Amazon, where the heat is thick and the air smells like wet leaves and sweet fruits. Everywhere you look, hammocks sway gently between wooden posts or sturdy trees, cradling people in midair. This is Brazilian hammock sleep, a centuries-old tradition that blends comfort, culture, and a touch of rhythm with the natural world. Hammocks, known locally as reedy, were introduced by indigenous tribes and later adopted throughout South America. They keep sleepers off the ground, away from insects, snakes, or damp soil, while providing a gentle rocking motion that lulls you into sleep almost immediately. Scientists now suggest that rocking motions can synchronize brainwaves and improve sleep quality. So these traditional hammocks might have been an early form of sleep science. You climb in, feeling the hammock hug your body. It's soft yet supportive, rocking just enough to make your thoughts drift. The nearby river hums gently, frogs croak in chorus, and a light breeze flutters through the leaves. In this moment, the hammock isn't just a bed, it's a bridge between your body and the rhythm of the rainforest. Brazilian children often take afternoon naps this way, and adults sometimes follow, especially in rural areas where life moves in cycles with the sun. Interestingly, in some communities, multiple hammocks hang together in one room, almost like a communal orchestra of swinging bodies, each in its own private rhythm, yet sharing the same gentle movement. Historians still debate whether this communal setup was more social or practical. But either way, it creates a remarkable sense of shared calm. You notice small rituals accompanying hammock sleep, a sprinkle of citronella to keep insects away, a thin cotton blanket to fend off cooler nights, or a whispered lullaby sung by a parent nearby. Each tiny act adds layers of comfort and protection, subtle yet profoundly effective. Eventually, your eyelids droop, you sway, you drift, and the forest's chorus becomes a lullaby. Sleep here feels natural, organic, almost as if the earth itself is rocking you to rest. When morning comes, the hammock creaks softly as you climb out. The world has changed, bathed in golden light, yet the calm lingers. You carry a piece of that rhythm with you, the memory of gentle rocking, the chorus of frogs, the perfect balance between motion and stillness. In Brazil, sleep isn't just about lying down. It's about moving with the world, floating between safety, community, and nature itself. You step into a traditional Turkish home at dusk. The air is filled with the warm aroma of brewing tea, and soft carpets cover the floor, inviting you to rest. Here, sleep isn't rushed or solitary. It's a ceremony, a slow dance between body, mind, and the subtle rhythms of daily life. In Turkey, especially in rural areas and historic neighborhoods, families often practice what's called yatmadan, fokansef, ritual pre-sleep rituals. It might involve washing feet in warm water, anointing the hands with rose or olive oil, and quietly sharing stories with loved ones. You notice how the soft clinking of teacups, the gentle folding of carpets, and the low murmur of conversation all create a natural bridge to rest. Onin curious tradition involves the dream pillow, Roya Yastii, filled with herbs like lavender, mint, or sage. People believe that placing it under your head guided peaceful dreams and kept nightmares away. Historians still debate whether these pillows were strictly spiritual tools or simply fragrant aids to relaxation. But either way, the effect is undeniably soothing. You lie down, feeling the herb's scent weave into your consciousness, light and calming, almost like a natural lullaby. Sleep here is never purely functional. It is embedded in social and sensory harmony. Before retiring, family members may recite prayers or simple blessings for the household. The floor cushions or beds are arranged carefully, ensuring everyone has comfort and proximity to warmth. It's not just rest, it's preparation, a ritualistic transition from wakefulness to the soft world of dreams. The Turkish night itself participates in the ceremony. Through open windows, you hear the distant call of the muezzin, blending with crickets and the rustle of trees. It's a subtle, ever-present reminder of both worldly life and spiritual existence. You breathe deeply, letting the scents, sounds, and tactile comfort coalesce into a natural slowing of time. Even today, researchers marvel at the Turkish pre-sleep routines. Some argue that these rituals improve mental well-being and help maintain strong family bonds. Others suggest that they're remnants of ancient Anatolian practices, where sleep was a sacred pause, an intimate conversation with both mind and soul. As your eyelids grow heavy, you feel a profound connection to the family you've never met, the culture that shaped these rituals, and the simple yet profound act of letting go. The day recedes like the tide, leaving you suspended in that delicate moment between consciousness and dreams. In Turkey, sleep is not just a necessity. It is a ceremony of care, scent, sound, and tradition, one that turns ordinary nights into gentle, sacred journeys. You step into a traditional Korean home, the air slightly crisp but welcoming. The room smells faintly of pine and polished wood, instead of a raised bed. The floor itself is your resting place, warmed from beneath by the ondol, the ancient Korean underfloor heating system. Tonight, you're about to experience sleep as the floor intended. Ondol isn't just clever engineering, it's cultural magic. For centuries, Koreans have slept on mats or thin mattresses directly on the heated floor, a practice dating back to at least the Goguryeo period. The heat seeps into your body, relaxing muscles and coaxing your mind towards slumber. You lie down, feeling the gentle warmth radiate through your back and legs, almost like the floor itself is giving you a hug. Historically, the system used flues to channel smoke from the kitchen under the floorboards, an ingenious way to recycle heat. While modern homes now use clean energy, the essence of ondol remains: sleep in harmony with both body and architecture. Researchers suggest that sleeping on a heated surface can improve circulation, ease stiffness, and even help you fall asleep faster. You might feel skeptical at first, but once your body adjusts, you understand why generations of Koreans swore by it. A small ritual often accompanies the ondol sleep. Before lying down, people may drink warm tea, do light stretches, or meditate quietly. This preparation aligns the mind with the cozy embrace of the floor. Even the blankets are minimal. The warmth comes from beneath, not above. A subtle contrast to Western bedding traditions. Some historians argue whether ondol was primarily practical, spiritual, or both. Was it survival in cold winters, or did it carry philosophical significance about humans and the earth? The debate continues, though the comfort it brings is undeniable. As you drift off, the quiet hum of the floor beneath you sinks with your heartbeat. Outside, the soft rustle of bamboo or the faint murmur of neighbors walking home adds a gentle backdrop. Sleep feels more natural, slower, and surprisingly deep. When morning arrives, you roll out of the warmth into the cool air. A subtle contrast that wakes your senses gently. The floor still radiates a lingering heat, a silent companion to your thoughts. In South Korea, sleeping isn't just about resting. It's about connecting with the earth, honoring generations of practice, and letting heat, architecture, and ritual conspire to give you the most natural sleep possible. You're in northern Sweden, where summer never seems to end. The sun lingers high in the sky at midnight, spilling gold across lakes and forests. Here, sleep becomes a peculiar challenge. How do you rest when the night refuses to fall? In Lapland and other northern regions, people have developed unique rituals to cope with the midnight sun. Thick curtains, eye masks, or even small tents indoors help create a sense of darkness. Some families use blackout blinds, so effective that it feels like the sun has vanished entirely. The goal is simple: convince your body that night has arrived, even when it stubbornly hasn't. Historically, Sami people adapted to this phenomenon through routines. They would maintain regular mealtimes, quiet periods, and consistent bedtimes, tricking the body into following a rhythm independent of sunlight. Researchers today find that the body's circadian rhythm can be remarkably resilient, but sleep quality still fluctuates with light exposure. Some studies suggest the bright nights can reduce deep sleep phases, leaving you groggy even after a full night in bed. You lie down in a small bedroom, the walls softly illuminated by artificial darkness. The air smells faintly of pine and smoked wood from the stove. You pull on blankets, close your eyes, and let the room's engineered night envelop you. The brain, initially confused by the golden light filtering through the edges of curtains, slowly adapts, releasing melatonin like clockwork. Some Swedes have quirky additions to this ritual: a calming tea, a short meditation, or even listening to a recording of nighttime forest sounds can help. Oddly, the sound of distant wildlife seems to trick the mind into believing night has come, even when your windows reveal unyielding sunlight. Historians debate whether these habits arose out of necessity or cultural invention. Either way, they persist, refined over generations. Outside, the landscape glows with endless light. Lakes mirror the sky, forests shimmer, and your mind struggles between wonder and sleepiness. Inside, however, your makeshift night performs its magic. Minutes stretch into hours, and you drift into a gentle slumber. By the morning, the golden sun is still high, but you've managed rest. This ritual teaches patience and ingenuity. In a land where the natural cycle refuses to cooperate, humans create their own rhythm. Sleep here is a triumph, a subtle victory over the endless light. In Sweden, sleep is not a simple surrender to darkness. It is an exercise in adaptation, ritual, and imagination. Proof that even the sun itself cannot always dictate your rest. You find yourself under a canopy of stars on the island of Madagascar. The air is fragrant with vanilla, wildflowers, and the distant scent of the ocean. Here, sleep is intertwined with the centuries. Old ritual called Zaza's Night Watch, a practice blending community vigilance, storytelling, and rest. In rural Malagasy villages, children and adults alike follow a nightly routine that balances alertness and relaxation. Before sleeping, families gather in a communal area, sharing stories about ancestors, nature spirits, and local legends. One adult or older sibling, known as the Zaza, keeps watch over the group, ensuring no danger approaches while the others rest. The watcher role rotates nightly, giving everyone an opportunity to sleep and remain connected to the rhythms of community life. The ritual is more than practical. It reinforces social bonds and embeds sleep within cultural storytelling. Children drift off to the cadence of folk tales, the rise and fall of voices acting like a lullaby, while the night watcher hums softly or listens for forest sounds. Anthropologists still debate whether this was primarily a survival tactic or a deliberate way to blend education and rest. But either explanation highlights the ingenuity of the ritual. You lay on a simple mat, the ground slightly warm from the day's sun. Crickets and distant lemurs provide a natural soundtrack. The Zaza's soft whispers of legends weave into your consciousness, making sleep feel both protected and enchanted. Occasionally, the watcher taps a stick lightly on the ground, a subtle signal to maintain alertness. But mostly, it's a rhythm that soothes rather than alarms. Historians note that this practice may date back hundreds of years, a hybrid of practical safety measures and spiritual beliefs. It also encourages mindfulness. Even in sleep, the community maintains awareness of the environment, creating a balance between rest and vigilance. As you drift into slumber, the stories linger like a gentle hum, your dreams infused with the mythical landscapes of Madagascar. Sleep is never merely physical here. It is a cultural experience, a mix of narrative, community, and instinctive care. By dawn, the Zaza's role passes to the next guardian, and the village awakens in quiet harmony. You rise feeling both rested and strangely attuned to the world around you. In Madagascar, sleep is not a solitary act, but a communal dance between vigilance, storytelling, and the deep, steady rhythm of the night. You find yourself in a small village in Ghana, where the sun has dipped low and the air hums with cicadas and distant chatter. Tonight, sleep is not silent. It's communicated through rhythm and story, thanks to the talking drum. In many Ghanaian communities, parents use the atumpan or other types of talking drums to lull children to sleep. These drums are not only musical instruments, but also tools of language and connection. By altering the pitch and rhythm, a skilled drummer can speak messages, recounting stories, proverbs, or even the day's news in code. To a child, the drum beat becomes a gentle storytelling guide that accompanies the transition to dreams. You lie on a woven mat inside a small hut, the wooden walls slightly warm from the day's sun. A parent begins tapping softly, first a slow rhythm, then a delicate melody. The drum communicates without words, but your mind decodes the subtle pulses into comfort, reassurance, and narrative. Anthropologists note that these rhythms may influence brainwaves, making children calmer and more ready for sleep, though exactly how much remains debated. The practice is often accompanied by soft humming or singing, integrating multiple senses. It's fascinating. While most cultures hush sound for sleep, here controlled sound becomes a bridge between consciousness and rest. The beat serves as a heartbeat you can synchronize with, making the environment feel safe and alive. Historians still debate the origins of the talking drum lullaby. Some believe it began as a practical tool for communication across villages and later adapted to domestic use. Others argue it's a spiritual practice, connecting children to their ancestors and the rhythms of the earth. Either way, it's a tradition that has endured for centuries. As the night deepens, your eyelids grow heavy. The drum's cadence remains soft, almost like a pulse within your own body. Sleep isn't passive here. It's interactive, rhythmic, and culturally rich. You drift, merging with the drum beat, the stories, and the quiet night outside. By morning, the village awakens to birdsong, and the drum's message has faded into memory. Yet the calm lingers, a reminder that in Ghana, sleep is not merely a biological necessity. It's a dance of sound, story, and trust. An experience that blends protection, learning, and gentle rhythm into one of the world's most poetic bedtime rituals. You step into a small Finnish sauna as twilight paints the sky in soft shades of pink and orange. The heat hits your skin immediately, dry and tense but strangely comforting. In Finland, sleep often follows the ritual of the sauna, a centuries-old practice linking warmth, relaxation, and deep rest. Historically, Finns used the sauna not only for cleansing, but also as preparation for sleep. The intense heat opens pores, relaxes muscles, and encourages circulation, leaving the body ready to settle into restorative rest. After the sauna, many people jump into icy water, a lake, river, or specially built bath, to shock the system and invigorate the senses. The contrast between hot and cold may sound extreme, but it triggers a natural relaxation response, preparing the mind for deep slumber. You towel off and lie down on a simple bed or mat. Your body still tingles from the sauna's warmth and the cool plunge. The Finns often add a quiet period afterward, sipping herbal tea or sitting in dimly lit rooms, allowing both body and mind to adjust. Historians still debate whether the cold plunge was originally a health ritual or merely a practical way to cleanse. But either way, it enhances sleep quality. Some households maintain a small ritual of gentle breathing or meditation after the sauna. Others simply enjoy silence, letting the body regulate its temperature and heart rate naturally. Modern research suggests that core body temperature drop following heat exposure encourages deeper, more restful sleep, confirming the wisdom of this age-old tradition. Outside, the northern European night is calm, the sky streaked with fading daylight. Inside, the warmth and ritual of the sauna leave you feeling cocooned, insulated from stress and external noise. The contrast of hot and cold, combined with quiet reflection, is almost hypnotic, and your eyelids grow heavy without realizing it. By the early hours, you've drifted into deep sleep, and your mind feels untangled, refreshed, and calm. The Finnish sauna ritual demonstrates that sleep isn't always just lying down in a bed. Sometimes, it's an orchestrated journey through warmth, contrast, and mindful pause. As you wake the next day, your body carries the lingering benefits: relaxed muscles, calm mind, and a subtle sense of harmony. The sauna teaches patience, rhythm, and the gentle art of transition from activity to rest. In Finland, sleep is more than rest. It's a ritualized, restorative, and intentional act. Shaped by centuries of cultural wisdom, you climb into a modest stone house perched high in the Andes, the chill of the evening settling around you. Outside, the jagged mountains glow pink under the fading sun, and inside the air carries a subtle, earthy scent. In this village, sleep is carefully prepared with a ritual known as cocoa leaf dreams. Locals chew cocoa leaves or brew a mild tea from them before bed, a practice believed to ease altitude discomfort, calm the mind, and guide restful sleep. You sit on a simple woven mat, feeling the rough texture beneath you, while the family around you performs the preparation. Chewing the leaves slowly, you notice the faintly bitter taste and the warming effect that spreads from your stomach into your chest. Anthropologists note that coca has been used in Andean culture for thousands of years, not only for work and endurance, but also to aid relaxation and sleep. Scholars still debate whether its nightly use originated for practical health reasons or spiritual purposes, but its cultural importance is undeniable. The ritual extends beyond chewing. Soft chants and lullabies are often performed, recounting stories of mountains, rivers, and ancestors. The sounds work like a natural metronome for the mind, calming thoughts and coaxing the brain toward rest. You feel the rhythm slowly synchronize with your own heartbeat, and the Andes outside seem to echo in harmony with this nightly ceremony. Some families burn small bundles of dried herbs alongside the coca, releasing smoke that is both fragrant and soothing. Historians argue whether this was originally for medicinal effect or as an offering to spirits. But the effect is subtle and calming. The combination of taste, smell, and sound creates a multisensory preparation for sleep, immersing you in centuries of Andean wisdom. As darkness settles over the peaks, you lie down fully, allowing the warmth of the home and the gentle effects of the ritual to embrace you. Sleep here is not passive. It is active, communal, and deeply connected to place, blending natural, cultural, and spiritual elements into a restorative night. By dawn, sunlight spills over the mountains, illuminating the village. You awaken with a sense of lightness and connection, carrying with you the lingering calm of a ritual honed over generations. In Peru, sleep is a bridge between human life, environment, and cultural continuity. A delicate dance performed nightly on the high Andes. You step into a warm, steam-filled room in a traditional Moroccan hammam, the walls glistening with moisture and the air thick with the scent of eucalyptus and orange blossom. Here, the night begins with a ritual of cleansing that is as much about preparing the body for rest as it is about hygiene. Marrakech and Fez households have long used the hammam, not only for bathing but to unwind before sleep. The ritual often involves a sequence: steaming, scrubbing with a coarse glove called a kessa, rinsing, and finally, resting wrapped in a soft towel or blanket. Anthropologists suggest that this sequence relaxes muscles, lowers stress hormones, and signals the body that it's time to transition to sleep. Historians debate whether the hammam was initially a purely social space or if the sleep preparation role was secondary. But the tradition remains central to Moroccan life. You lie on a warm marble slab, feeling the last traces of steam curling around you. The rhythmic dripping of water echoes softly, and your breath synchronizes with the gentle hissing of the bath. Locals often sip herbal teas, mint, chamomile, or thyme, after leaving the hammam, enhancing relaxation and calming digestion, which is crucial for restful sleep. Some Moroccan families add incense or scented oils to the experience, filling the room with soft fragrances that stimulate olfactory memory and psychological calm. It's fascinating how sound, heat, and scent converge into a single, intentional sleep ritual, proving that relaxation is multisensory. Researchers still debate the balance between physiological and psychological benefits, but both are undeniably present. Outside, the city's night is lively yet distant. Inside, the hammam ritual creates a sanctuary, insulating you from external noise and daily concerns. As you leave and lie down in your bedroom, your muscles still tingling, the body is primed for deep, restorative sleep. By morning, the soft Moroccan sunlight filters through curtains, and you wake feeling refreshed. The Hammam teaches that sleep isn't merely about lying down. It's a culmination of ritual, sensory engagement, and deliberate preparation. A lesson in mindful rest, passed down through generations. You enter a quiet Istanbul home as evening settles over the Bosphorus. The air carries subtle hints of rosewater, lavender, and cedarwood. The ingredients of a centuries-old Ottoman sleep ritual. Here, sleep is considered a sensory experience, a delicate balance of scent, sound, and environment. Historically, wealthy Ottoman households would prepare bedrooms with carefully chosen fragrances. Rosewater spritzed on linens, cedarwood blocks placed near beds, and small sachets of lavender or mint created an olfactory environment designed to calm the mind and enhance rest. Scholars still debate whether the focus on scent was primarily for comfort, spiritual purification, or social status. But the practice persisted for centuries. You lie down on a silk-lined mattress or cotton sheets, inhaling the complex aroma mixture. Parents might recite gentle poetry or soft prayers, often quoting lines from classical Ottoman literature, embedding narrative into the ritual. The combination of scent, recitation, and dim lighting works like a multisensory lullaby, slowly guiding the brain toward relaxation. Some sources suggest that Ottoman doctors believed aromatherapy could regulate humors and blood flow, subtly influencing sleep quality. Others propose it was entirely cultural, a reflection of aesthetics and domestic sophistication. Either way, the effects are tangible. The fragrance calms, the ritual soothes, and your mind drifts effortlessly. Outside, Istanbul hums with distant evening life. But inside, the carefully crafted room shields you. Each inhale feels like a gentle hug, a layered approach to comfort. The Ottoman sleep ritual is subtle but deliberate, teaching that rest can be cultivated, experienced, and enhanced through human creativity and sensory design. By the end of the night, you awaken feeling unusually refreshed, as if the fragrances themselves guided your dreams. In Turkey, sleep is more than rest. It is an immersive sensory ceremony, passed down through generations, quietly shaping both body and imagination. You find yourself in a small village on the island of Java, Indonesia, where the evening air is thick with the scent of frangipani and rice paddies. Sleep here begins long before your head touches the mat, with the preparation of bamboo sleep platforms elevated above the ground. These simple structures are not just practical. They embody a centuries-old ritual connecting the body to nature. You step onto the smooth, slightly springy bamboo slats and feel a gentle vibration as the platform responds to your weight. Locals believe that the subtle movement and natural materials encourage relaxation, align the body, and promote deep sleep. Anthropologists note that the slight sway may mimic natural rocking, influencing brain rhythms and calming the nervous system. Although some scholars argue the effect may be more psychological than physiological. The ritual often includes spreading mats and woven blankets, arranging pillows stuffed with fragrant herbs, like lemongrass or pandan leaves. Families may chant or hum softly while preparing the sleeping area, their voices weaving through the evening air. You notice the scent, texture, and subtle sounds all working in concert, turning a simple night's rest into a multi-sensory experience. Historically, elevated bamboo platforms protected sleepers from damp ground, insects, and snakes. Over time, the practical structure merged with cultural beliefs about alignment, energy flow, and harmony with nature. Scholars still debate which aspects are symbolic and which are functional, but the ritual's endurance is undeniable. As darkness envelops the village, you lie down fully, letting the bamboo flex gently under your body. The subtle resonance, combined with soft scents and the distant rustling of palm leaves, creates a lullaby uniquely Indonesian. Sleep becomes a dialogue with your surroundings, a practice that celebrates rhythm, balance, and attentiveness to both body and environment. By morning, sunlight spills over the rice terraces, and you awaken with a sense of lightness. In Indonesia, sleep is not passive. It is an intentional, tactile, and fragrant ritual blending centuries of practical wisdom and cultural reverence into every night's rest. The sun sinks slowly behind the green hills. You step into a small Thai home, where the air carries a soft, floral scent, fresh jasmine, floating gently through the evening breeze. Here, sleep is more than closing one's eyes. It's a quiet ceremony, a moment to let the body and the mind exhale together. A family prepares for nightfall. They lay out thin mats on the cool floor, sprinkle a few jasmine petals around the bed, and place small bowls of blossoms near the pillows. The air feels calm, the kind of calm that makes time slow down. Before lying down, many take a few quiet breaths. Some close their eyes for a short meditation, not to empty the mind, but to thank the day that has passed. You join them, breathing in the sweet scent. With each exhale, you feel the weight of the day loosen, as if the air itself is helping you let go. Sometimes the room fills with a soft hum, a Buddhist chant, or a lullaby, whispered from another room. The rhythm is slow, like the pulse of a heart at peace. Science might call it a drop in cortisol, but in this moment, it simply feels like the body remembering how to rest. The jasmine lingers, not sharp, not strong, just enough to comfort. Its fragrance wraps around you like a gentle hand guiding you towards stillness. A small fan hums quietly nearby, keeping the air cool. The woven mat beneath you breathes with the night. Crickets outside sing their patient song. Somewhere in the distance, a temple bell marks the hour, not to wake anyone, but to remind the world that night has arrived. Sleep comes slowly here, like mist rising over rice fields. You feel your breath deepen. The petals by your pillow release one last whisper of sweetness, and before you know it, you've drifted into the peaceful rhythm of Thailand's jasmine night. By morning, sunlight touches your face, soft, golden, forgiving. You wake calm, as if your dreams carried the scent of flowers. Here rest is not an accident. It's an art, fragrant, mindful, and kind. You arrive at a small Nigerian village as the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in deep oranges and purples. Tonight, sleep isn't merely an individual act. It's woven into a communal ritual of drumming and rhythmic storytelling. The beats of traditional drums are believed to soothe the mind, calm anxieties, and prepare the body for rest. You find a spot on a woven mat, the wooden floor slightly cool beneath you. Nearby, villagers sit in a circle, their hands rhythmically striking drums made of wood and stretched animal skin. The patterns are slow, hypnotic, and repetitive, designed not to energize, but to entrain the mind's internal rhythms with gentle percussion. Anthropologists note that these rhythms can reduce heart rate variability, subtly guiding participants toward a meditative, sleep-ready state. Historians, however, debate whether drumming was originally spiritual, social, or purely functional. Yet, the ritual persists across generations. Some nights include storytelling alongside drumming. Elders recount folk tales, proverbs, and myths, their voices rising and falling with the drumbeat. You notice how the narrative rhythm intertwines with the percussive pattern, creating a mesmerizing multisensory experience. Even the smell of smoky lamps and the soft rustle of leaves outside becomes part of the ritual, grounding the senses in the present moment. Practical benefits abound. The ritual promotes social bonding, reduces nighttime anxiety, and creates a natural transition from day to night. Scholars still argue over whether its effects on sleep are psychological, physiological, or both. Yet sitting there, absorbed in drum and story, you feel the body relaxing and the mind letting go. By the time drumming slows to a near whisper, you lie back fully, sensing your heartbeat synchronize with the fading rhythms. Sleep in Nigeria becomes a communal, auditory, and culturally rich practice, where rhythm, narrative, and environment coalesce into restorative rest. As night deepens, you drift effortlessly into dreams, carrying the echoes of generations in your subconscious. You step into a Finnish countryside home, the evening air crisp, with a scent of pine and snow. Tonight, sleep will follow a centuries old ritual, the sauna before bed. In Finland, the sauna is more than a bath. It's a prelude to deep, restorative rest, harmonizing body and mind. You climb into the wooden sauna, the air thick with steam and the aroma of birch leaves. The heat presses gently against your skin, muscles relaxing under the warmth. Finns traditionally alternate between hot steam and brief exposure to cold air or water, a practice believed to improve circulation and promote physiological readiness for sleep. Anthropologists note that the sauna lowers heart rate and relaxes the nervous system, although some historians debate whether its sleep-enhancing role was an original purpose or a happy byproduct of hygiene and social ritual. After the sauna, you wrap yourself in a soft towel and lie down in a quiet room, feeling residual warmth from your skin. Families often sip herbal tea or lightly salted water to restore balance. The sensory sequence, heat, coolness, quiet, and gentle taste, creates a full-body cue for rest. You notice how the ritual slows your thoughts and tunes your body to natural rhythms. The sauna ritual also includes a social component. In traditional homes, family members or neighbors might share stories or jokes, their voices soft and calming, creating a gentle narrative lullaby. Scholars still debate how much of the ritual's sleep benefit comes from heat, relaxation, or social interaction, but all agree the combined effect is powerful. As you finally close your eyes, the warmth lingers and your muscles sink into the mattress. Outside, snow softly muffles sound, while inside, your mind drifts, soothed by heat, ritual, and quiet companionship. Sleep in Finland is not just an act. It is an intentional, immersive, and harmonious transition, blending body, mind, and environment into one seamless night. By morning, you awaken feeling light, alert, and calm, carrying with you the subtle benefits of this age-old practice. In Finland, sleep is ritualized, restorative, and deeply connected to both nature and culture, proving that even the coldest lands have warm, deliberate paths to rest. You wander into a small Egyptian home as the desert sky darkens into deep indigo. Here, sleep begins with a gentle ritual involving date palm leaves, prayers, and subtle fragrances, a tradition that has persisted for centuries along the Nile. You notice a bundle of date palm leaves resting near the bed. Some families place them beneath pillows or sprinkle water infused with crushed leaves around the sleeping area. The ritual is believed to protect sleepers from bad dreams and create a calm, serene atmosphere. Anthropologists observe that the preparation may function psychologically, providing a sense of safety and structure before bed, while historians debate whether its origins were spiritual, medicinal, or both. After arranging the leaves, families recite soft prayers, sometimes whispering verses from the Quran or local blessings. You lie on a thin mattress or woven mat, absorbing the gentle cadence of words, the subtle rustle of leaves, and the soft fragrance in the air. The combination of sound, scent, and ritualized motion gradually signals the mind to release tension. Some households enhance the experience with incense or the faint smell of burning resin, which creates a soothing, almost hypnotic atmosphere. The sensory engagement, visual, olfactory, auditory, forms a gentle, deliberate transition from day to night. Scholars continue to debate the physiological versus symbolic effects of these practices, but the perceived calm is undeniable. As night deepens, the desert wind whispers outside, carrying distant sounds of life along the Nile. Inside, the leaves, prayers, and subtle fragrances cocoon you in a sense of security. Sleep becomes a multi-layered cultural act, connecting body, mind, and environment. By morning, the early sun illuminates the room, and you awaken refreshed, as if the centuries of tradition have imbued your rest with both calm and meaning. In Egypt, sleep is not simply rest. It is a carefully curated ritual of plants, prayers, and sensory cues, showing that even in the heat of the desert, humans have always sought structured, comforting paths to slumber. You step into a traditional Mongolian jur as the vast steppe stretches endlessly under a twilight sky. Here, sleep is intimately tied to nature, celestial rhythms, and communal life. The jur, a circular tent with a central stove, becomes both shelter and ritual space for rest. Inside, the warmth of the stove fills the round space. Mats and felt blankets are arranged carefully, and families often prepare themselves by observing the night sky before bed. Elders point out constellations, sharing stories and legends that have guided Mongolian life for centuries. The act of gazing at stars is thought to calm the mind and harmonize the body's rhythms with natural cycles, a practice that modern researchers suggest may aid sleep. However, historians still debate whether the sky watching was primarily spiritual, navigational, or ritualistic in origin. You lie down on a felt mat, hearing the quiet crackle of the stove and feeling the gentle sway of the jur in the evening breeze. The ritual often includes light conversation or soft chants, reinforcing family bonds and creating a sense of psychological security. Even the scent of burning wood or dried herbs adds a subtle layer of calm. Practical considerations blend seamlessly with cultural ones. The jur's circular structure retains warmth and blocks harsh winds, while the ritual of observing stars and storytelling establishes a predictable transition to sleep. Anthropologists note that this structured environment, combined with sensory engagement, promotes relaxation and helps the mind detach from daytime stress. As darkness deepens, you notice your breath slowing in sync with the quiet rhythm of the step. Sleep here feels like a gentle merging with the natural world, a dialogue between human presence and cosmic cycles. By morning, the rising sun illuminates the endless grasslands, and you awaken with a sense of calm and connectedness. In Mongolia, sleep is not a solitary act. It is a harmonization of body, family, and universe, reminding you that even in vast, open spaces, ritual and attention to natural rhythms can create profound rest. You arrive in a serene Bhutanese village, perched on a mountainside shrouded in mist. Here, sleep is guided by the fluttering of prayer flags, meditation, and a careful attention to mental clarity. Every night, residents engage in a ritual designed to align body, mind, and spirit before rest. You step into a home where the gentle breeze carries the soft rustle of colorful prayer flags outside. Families often begin by tidying the sleeping area and arranging mats or thin mattresses facing east, a direction thought to invite auspicious energy. Elders recite short prayers or mantras, while children listen attentively, absorbing rhythm and meaning. Anthropologists suggest that the combination of ritual, sound, and environmental cues contributes to a calmer nervous system. Though historians debate whether these practices originated primarily as spiritual guidance or practical sleep preparation. As you lie down, the soft scent of incense or dried herbs, sometimes juniper or sandalwood, drifts through the room. The fluttering of prayer flags outside provides a gentle auditory background, blending with chants to create a multisensory sleep environment. You notice how the rhythm of sound, visual cues, and smell guides your thoughts from busy daytime concerns into a meditative state. Some households add mindfulness exercises, such as visualizing positive intentions or reflecting on gratitude, transforming sleep preparation into a gentle cognitive rehearsal. Scholars argue whether the psychological benefit outweighs the spiritual symbolism. Yet the combined effect is a deep sense of tranquility. By nightfall, your breath slows, and your body feels settled into the soft mattress. The prayer flags outside continue to move, their colors blurred by darkness, while chants fade into the still night. Sleep in Bhutan is an intentional, mindful, and culturally immersive practice, linking tradition, environment, and meditation into one seamless night of rest. By morning, sunlight spills across the mountains, illuminating both the landscape and your refreshed mind. In Bhutan, sleep is not merely rest. It is a ritual of awareness, natural harmony, and spiritual grounding, offering a gentle yet profound path to nightly rejuvenation. You wander into a small Andean village, where dusk drapes the mountains in deep purples and soft gold. The air is cool, thin, and filled with the scent of stone and firewood. Tonight, you are invited to join an ancient ritual. The Amaru Dreams, named after the mythical serpent who guides dreamers through the world of sleep. Inside a humble stone house, a kettle simmers gently. Locals prepare a tea made from coca leaves and chamomile. Their movements unhurried, almost sacred. The aroma fills the room, earthy, floral, and soothing. They say this: tea quiets the mind, eases the body's tension, and opens a path for the Amaru to visit. You sit on the floor beside them, watching the steam rise like soft mountain fog, A grandmother hums a tune older than memory. A child giggles quietly. Outside, the wind whistles through the peaks like a flute. As you sip the warm, slightly bitter tea, you feel your breath slow. The rhythm of conversation fades into a gentle flow of stories. Legends of the mountains, of spirits who live in rivers and clouds. Each word feels like a small stone placed carefully in your heart. Some elders light bundles of dried herbs, mua, sage, or eucalyptus, and let the fragrant smoke curl through the air. It carries a scent both sharp and comforting, cleansing the space, making the night feel alive but peaceful. You realize this isn't just about sleep. It's about remembering where you are, where you came from, and the invisible threads that tie dreams to the earth. When darkness settles fully, you lie down on a woven blanket. The fabric smells faintly of wool and sunlight. You close your eyes. The mountain air is cool on your skin. You feel not alone, but surrounded by voices, by warmth, by quiet trust. Somewhere in the distance, a flute plays again, slow, wandering, half dream, half memory. And in that sound, you sense the Amaru, the serpent of dreams, coiling gently through your thoughts, carrying your worries away into the mountain mist. By morning, golden light spills across the jagged peaks. The village stirs softly. You wake calm, your chest full of a quiet gratitude. You remember the tea, the stories, the warmth of smoke and laughter. Here, in the Andes, sleep is not an escape. It's a return, a weaving together of body, spirit, and story. And you rise, still wrapped in the peace of the Amaru's dream. You arrive in a small Mapuche village in southern Chile, the Andes casting long shadows over the evening landscape. Here, sleep is approached as a ceremony connecting humans to nature and ancestral spirits, a practice that has persisted for centuries. The ritual begins with the preparation of the sleeping space. Mats or animal hides are carefully arranged, and aromatic herbs like boldo or maki leaves are burned to purify the air. You notice the faint, calming scent curling around the room. Elders may chant softly or recite prayers, weaving language and rhythm into the night. Anthropologists suggest that the combination of herbs, sound, and structure helps regulate both mind and body for rest. Though some historians debate whether spiritual or practical concerns motivated the original practices. As you lie down, the sounds of nature seep in, the distant river, rustling trees, and night birds. The Mapuche believe that paying attention to these natural cues helps synchronize sleep cycles with the environment, promoting restorative, aligned sleep. Families often take turns telling stories about the stars, local legends, and ancestral wisdom, blending narrative with relaxation. Practical considerations are also present. Elevated sleeping surfaces protect from moisture and insects, while the communal setting reinforces a sense of safety and emotional security. Scholars still discuss whether the benefits stem mainly from psychology, physiology, or cultural cohesion. But the combination is undeniably effective. As darkness deepens, you feel a gentle integration of body, mind, and environment. The smoke from herbs lingers faintly, the chants slow and fade, and your thoughts soften into calm. Sleep in Mapuche culture is a holistic, sensory, and ritualized practice, showing that even in remote areas, human ingenuity and cultural traditions craft profound paths to rest. By morning, sunlight warms the landscape, illuminating mountains and rivers alike. You awaken feeling grounded and serene, carrying the echo of ancestral care into your day. In Chile, sleep is not simply a physiological act. It is a ceremony, a bridge between earth, community, and spirit, guiding you into restorative slumber each night. You step into a Moroccan riad as the evening sun dips below the Atlas Mountains. Tonight, sleep follows the centuries, old ritual of mint tea and deliberate wind down, a practice designed to transition both body and mind into rest. You notice a small, intricately decorated teapot bubbling gently on the stove. Families pour hot water over fresh mint leaves and a hint of sugar, creating a fragrant, soothing brew. Sipping slowly, you feel the warmth spread through your body, the aroma softening tension. Anthropologists suggest that mint may have mild sedative effects, although historians debate whether its use in sleep rituals was originally medicinal, symbolic, or simply aesthetic. As tea steeps, locals dim lamps and curtains, creating a quiet, cozy atmosphere. Soft conversation or hushed storytelling accompanies the ritual, blending social connection with relaxation. You notice the interplay between taste, smell, and gentle auditory cues, a full sensory approach to signaling that the day has ended and it's time for sleep. Some families include light stretching or brief meditative breathing, emphasizing mindfulness alongside sensory stimulation. Scholars continue to discuss whether these steps are physiologically impactful or culturally symbolic. But either way, they create a calm mental and emotional state conducive to sleep. As the night deepens, you lie down on a simple mattress or woven mat, the lingering scent of mint and warmth of tea creating a cocoon of tranquility. Outside, the call to prayer floats over the city rooftops, blending into the calm rhythm of your own breath. Sleep in Morocco is an intentional, culturally rich, and sensory experience, turning ordinary rest into a gentle ceremony. By morning, sunlight filters through lattice windows, and you awaken refreshed, your mind quieted and body calm. In Morocco, sleep is not merely a biological necessity. It is a ritualized act of mindfulness, scent, and social rhythm, showing how centuries of culture can guide the simplest human need. You find yourself on a Samoan beach as the sun slips beneath the horizon, painting the sky in coral and gold. Here, sleep is intertwined with ocean rhythms, family lullabies, and gentle night rituals, creating a serene and immersive prelude to rest. Families gather on mats near the shore or in open-air fail, the traditional Samoan homes with open sides. Mothers and elders hum soft lullabies while gently rocking infants or singing to older children. The rhythm of their voices often mimics the lapping waves, creating a natural auditory cue that synchronizes with human relaxation cycles. Anthropologists observe that this interplay between lullaby and environment can reduce stress hormones and induce drowsiness. Though historians still debate whether the practice originated purely for sleep or as part of broader social cohesion, you lie down on a woven mat, feeling the warmth of the evening air and hearing the distant crash of waves. Families sometimes sprinkle the sleeping area with crushed local flowers, adding fragrance to the ritual. The combination of sound, scent, and touch creates a multisensory sleep environment that guides both body and mind toward calm. Practical aspects blend seamlessly with cultural ones. The open fail allows for gentle ventilation and exposure to natural night sounds, while communal sleeping reinforces emotional security. Scholars continue to discuss whether the primary benefits are physiological, psychological, or social, but the effect is undeniably soothing. As darkness envelops the island, the waves provide a soft, constant backdrop while lullabies drift into the night. Sleep in Samoa becomes a harmonious dialogue with nature, culture, and family, where every sense is engaged in gentle preparation for rest. By morning, the first sunlight glints off the water, and you awaken feeling refreshed, attuned to the rhythms of both ocean and human tradition. In Samoa, sleep is more than a biological need. It is a ritual of sound, scent, and communal presence, demonstrating how humans across the globe have woven culture into the art of rest. Now, as you settle completely into the softness of your own bed, take a deep breath and let the day's worries float away. Imagine the gentle rustle of leaves in Bhutan, the lapping waves in Samoa, and the subtle warmth of Finland's sauna lingering around you. Each ritual you've traveled through tonight, from the jasmine-filled rooms of Thailand to the drumbeats of Nigeria, carries its own cadence, its own invitation to let go. The air feels softer, your body heavier, and your mind slower, as if every story has woven a gentle lullaby just for you. Drift easily, effortlessly, and know that the world's wisdom about sleep has quietly guided you here, into this safe, warm, restorative space. Let each breath lengthen, each thought soften, and let yourself float into the calm embrace of night.